Hello and welcome to the Cloud Council. I'm Don Polaniki, and today I'm delighted to be bringing you a special episode of the Cloud Council where we're going to be focusing on leadership. And who better to talk about leadership than Sir Clive Woodward. So Clive, starting with rugby, everyone will remember exactly where they were when Jonny Wilkinson kicked that winning drop goal in 2003 in Sydney. Winding back to 97, when you took over, as you said, as a first professional coach for England and to your first principles, can you share your philosophy on selecting and crafting world-class teams?
Yeah, I think firstly, Dom, I certainly know where I was when Jonny Wilkinson dropped that goal in 2003. It's a pretty special moment. But no, I always talk about luck. I was extremely lucky. I became the first full-time coach in 97, very much based on a business background. I played rugby for England and the Lions, and I was coaching at the amateur level. But my background was basically in business, in Xerox, and running my own company, as I said before. So, I was very clear about it, and I'm often asked. I think running a sports team is absolutely no different than running a business team. It's a business. You're trying to create results through people, and that's it. And I repeat that: you're trying to deliver results through people, and that's what business is all about, and what's what sports all about. And I have this kind of saying, and I don't know. I have a lot of kind of sayings that I keep writing down, mainly because I listen to other people speak. Well, that's a pretty cool line, but I've always thought that the great teams are made of great individuals, and I repeat it. Great teams are made of great individuals. I mean, I'll never ever underscore the importance, Dom, of working in teams, and there's nothing better than being part of successful teams and a winning team. But I think if there is a secret to running high-performing teams or creating winning teams, is basically this: if you try to make every individual in your team the very, very best they can be, and I mean the very, very best, the team stuff becomes a lot easier to actually do. I see a lot of business leaders in sport and business kind of get this wrong. They think it's all about, okay, if I can kind of hire the very, very best individuals, I can kind of sit back, it's all going to happen. I think that's a huge mistake. I think the secret is once you've got your team in place, and be very, very clear, I don't think you never spend enough time, effort, money, dollars trying to hire the right people. But that's got to be seen the start and not the finish. I see so many people think it's all about getting the right talent and sitting back. What I believe in is really taking the recruitment side very seriously, trying to get the very, very best individuals, whatever their position is. That's the start. My job as a leader is to try and make that individual better, you, the individual, better. Doesn't matter what you do, whether you're driving a forklift truck, whether you're the receptionist, you're a trader, you're the chief executive, a fly half in rugby. If I'm your boss, I'm trying to make you better. So I'm trying to make every individual better. And what I find then, people really respect that. You can't kind of BS people in terms of they know if the boss is delivering. If your boss is really trying to help you become better at whatever you do, I think that's one of the big ways of getting respect and trust. And I make no bones about that. Doesn't matter who you are, my job is to make you better individually, and the team stuff becomes a lot easier to actually do. And another one of my favorite sayings, talent alone is not enough. I'll say that again, talent alone is not enough. It's kind of, talent to me gets you into sports teams, into businesses, but it's the start and not the finish. So once I've got this talented person, my job is to try and make you better. Doesn't matter who you are, Jonny Wilkinson, Martin Johnson, anybody, I'm going to try and make you better, a better player or a better business person. And I use this model, and again, I don't know where I've got this from, but there's three key things I look for in trying to make a champion individual. And if I was going to coach you, Dom, in terms of what you do, this is the process we'd actually go for. And the three things I look for is in trying to make an outstanding individual or keep training and coaching an individual. Three key things. The first is a concept I call being teachable. So teachable is a bit of a mouthful, but teachable is quite simply it's your ability to learn. It's your ability to take on knowledge, and quite simply, it's a passion for what you actually do. I work with many individuals, and often in the business world, they show me their kind of their training portfolios, what HR are delivering them to, trying to help them improve, which is great. And if you're lucky enough to work for a company that invests in you as an individual, that's fantastic. But if you're going to work with me, I'll go, great, big tick. Let's just park that for a moment. What I want to know is, what do you do? What else do you do off your own back to actually improve your own performance, your own skill set, to make yourself better? Let's face it, with modern technology to now, there's no excuse really for not taking ownership of your own development. So yes, I'm going to help you, and yes, the company's going to help you, but I want to know what you're going to be. It's got to be a two-way thing. So if you want to become this great individual and become part of my world-class team, this is not a one-way system. This has got to be a two-way system. And this is all about being teachable. And I kind of use the language quite simply: you're either a sponge or a rock. What I mean by that is I want people who've got a sponge between their ears and not a rock between their ears. In other words, you're porous for new ideas, new thoughts. You're happy to share information. You're not a rock, and a rock, and if you have a rock in your team, in my language, you're kind of uncoachable, unteachable, bit of a know-it-all. And if you're really serious about beating the opposition sitting in these rooms over here, you have one rock in your team, the chance of being successful are really, really hard. So the simple thing is this sponge rock analogy, you're never one thing or another. Normally when you join teams, you're normally a sponge, got a thirst for knowledge. Sometimes the longer you're in companies, the more experienced you become, the more you can just drift into being this rock type person. And if you've got that one rock, especially if you're the boss, you're going to be in serious trouble. And at best, I think you're going to come second. So the first attribute I look for in an individual in terms of coaching, are you teachable, are you coachable, and are you going to get involved? Mm-hmm. The second thing I look for, and this is part of the coaching as well as the recruitment process, but certainly the ongoing coaching process, is how good are you under pressure? I think pressure is a great, great word. I think pressure sets aside people who kind of, very, very good at something to being excellent and sublime at something. But I don't think pressure is something you are born to cope with. I think pressure is something you can coach people, you can teach yourself how to do this. So, and the way I coach pressure, I use this it's a very kind of English word called teacup. When I say teacup, I mean T-C-U-P, T-C-U-P. And what teacup stands for is thinking correctly under pressure. Thinking correctly under pressure. And the key word is correctly. So when this pressure thing kicks in, like, I think you can see it in sports, huge pressure moments. Are the individuals concerned able to handle this pressure moment? Pressure could be something that happened to you and me now, Dom. Now we could be interrupted by something. How do we handle it? Have we thought through? And the whole thing about pressure is, and the key takeaway about this pressure thing, if you come across something you've never experienced before, but most importantly, you've never thought through, what would I do if that was to happen, i.e. the pressure moment? The chance of thinking correctly under pressure are very, very small. All these horrendous words kick in, choke, freeze, bottle, rabbits in the headlights. Conversely, if you come across something that you've experienced before, but more importantly, you've thought through, what would I do in that situation? Backed up by the most sophisticated data, there's a very high chance you'll think correctly under pressure and make the right decision. And so, give me an example from the rugby, what I used to do about this. When I had a meeting with a player or players, I'd always have three things available: a clock, a scoreboard, and a whiteboard. Clock, scoreboard, whiteboard. In any meeting or any one-on-one meeting like this with yourself or everyone listening in, I would just stop the meetings and set up a situation. So the clock, I'd say the clock here, the clock on the wall, 5 minutes to go. So it's 5 minutes to go to the game of rugby. Scoreboard, England 12, Australia 16. We're 4 points behind. And on the whiteboard, I'd set up a situation. And I'd just stand back and say to the player, what would you do? What would you do? So whenever we're 5 points down, 5 minutes to go, 4 points down, here's the situation. That player's immediately got to say to me what he or she would do. If they can't, they've got to sit there and say, whoa, what would we do here? Because most pressure situations got some time element to it as well. And we used to do time after time after time, just give scenario. And that's how you can teach pressure. And within reason, they shouldn't come across anything you've not thought through how to handle it. And if you do come across something that you've not thought through or have seen before, there's a better chance you'll handle it, even in that one moment, if you get this kind of thought process going.
When Matt Dawson dummied when everyone thought he was going to pass to Johnny for that final drop kick, is that teacup in action, or is that spur of the moment thinking?
No, that was teacup in action. We used to actually because what's happening there, those of you watched it, I'm sure most of you watched it if you're listening to this, but Dawson's got his hands on the ball. Johnny's dropped back in the pocket for the drop goal. Everyone's shouting drop goal. They're shouting drop goal. We're shouting drop goal. It's going to be a drop goal. So what happens is they all spread out. They're going to go for the charge down. So there's gaps there. We train for this. The scrum half, look in there, keep one eye on the gap. You can make that extra. And that extra 10, 15 yards that Dawson made arguably won us the World Cup. But it's teacup thinking. It's thinking correct under pressure. We were too far out. We weren't too far out for the goal, but it was a lot easier after Dawson made the break. But you practice thinking correctly under pressure. I'll just tell you that one story about Dawson, because this is absolutely true. We've done that drop goal routine a million times, Dom, a million times. Johnny Wilkinson was an amazing player. His strongest foot is his left foot. He kicks off both feet, but his strong foot is his left foot. So everybody's retraining. Whoever's playing scrum half, remember Wilkinson, left foot, left foot, left foot. So in the biggest teacup moment of our life, Dawson slings the pass straight to Johnny Wilkinson's right foot, his weaker foot. I'm just going, all I'm saying, On the touchline, I'm going, that's his right foot. Wilkinson swings his right foot out, sails to the post. We win the World Cup. After the game, I can't wait to find Dawson. I'm going to pin him to the wall. I'm just going, we've practiced a million times. So we're in the changing room, and he comes up to me face to face. And I've looked at him, I've gone, we just won the World Cup, and all I'm ranting and raving about is his drop goal. I look at Dawson, I go, Johnny Wilkinson, left foot, how many times have we done it? He just looked there, he said, boss, he'd already missed 2 with his left foot, so I thought I'd try on his right foot for a change. Now, that is real teacup thinking. And he just walked off laughing. He's got a fair point, because Wilkinson had missed 2 on his left foot, but that is real teacup thinking. So pressure is a big, big thing. But to me, you can train for it. You write things down, you share with your colleagues, and you try and predict what's going to happen. And what we're going through now is a classic teacup situation in terms of coronavirus. Right. And have we really, anyone actually understood what's going to happen? And the answer is clearly no. And we got caught short, but we should have been there. So the last thing I look for in terms of an individual is just what I call attitude. I think attitude is a great, great word. I think attitude goes across most languages, most culture. He or she has got the right attitude. But I break attitude down into 10 distinct words. And behind these 10 words is a really detailed whole presentation what each of these actually mean. So I can measure attitude, I can coach attitude, including mine, because it's 3 and 360. You can see where I'm up to. But just to give you one of them example. One of them is which I did, which you still like, punctuality. I think punctuality says more about an individual and a team than probably most things I can think of. I mean, how can you trust someone who can't be bothered to be on time? I promise you, I'm never late. There have to be a major incident out there for me to be late for anybody. I'm never late, because
I can vouch for that.
But it kind of represents what it represents in you. But once you understand it, so you coach people about this, you haven't got to talk about what time. And time, Dom, isn't just finishing on starting on time. It's finishing on time. It's running your meetings on time. It's phone calls, all sorts of stuff. It's got a huge significance, but it just says the right attitude to me. So we have 10 of these which we can coach and measure. So, when I'm coaching anybody, they're the 3 major things I go through: teachability, pressure, and attitude. And I'm trying to make you better every single one of those areas. And what I actually demand is a two-way thing. And then when you get these great individuals, and in the rugby sense, you look around the change room, and out of 15 players, you've probably got 5 or 6 who would get in any team in the world. The rest would probably be, close. You got a chance. So get individuals, really superb individuals. Teamwork becomes a lot easier to actually do. So to answer your question, that's my kind of whole DNA about creating world-class teams in business or sport. Great teams are made of great individuals.
Thanks, Clive, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.